Hello everybody, welcome back to another live stream. So it is just after 5:30 here in the UK in the morning. Yeah, we have an exciting launch today. We have the NASA's PACE satellite. PACE stands for Plankton Aerosol Cloud Ecosystem. They tend to leave out the ocean ecosystem for some reason. But yes, NASA really do like their acronyms. So yeah, today's launch is, we're about 6 minutes away from the dedicated live stream from NASA on YouTube. So we should be getting some gorgeous views of the rocket today. So, a quick overview of PACE. So it is basically for monitoring the oceans, the atmosphere, the clouds, basically everything that goes along with what we know about oceans and how the ocean and the atmosphere play a massive role in, the planet. So PACE is dedicated to looking at these individual bits, and I actually I found this little. So this is NASA's own website, and it's all dedicated towards what this satellite is going to be doing. So yeah, it's pretty cool. There was some things I wanted to look at. So you actually got here. You can create your own model of PACE by literally printing out this part here, these 3 pages, and you cut them out and you can have your own PACE satellite, which I think is so cool. It's so cool to have like all of this, and it breaks down the actual satellite. It shows what part does what and what is, the actual, how it goes together, which is super cool, and it's really good for educational tools. If you needed, look, it shows you a whole diagram of how to put everything together, and it's crazy. So yeah, what we're going to get on with is we are going to show was it applications? No, it wasn't here. I had one, I moved it. Right. I honestly, I had something prepared and I clicked over, and that has really annoyed me. So we are 3 minutes 20 seconds from the live stream, so I should hear actually that live stream start. I'm going to turn their audio on for you so I don't have to do that later. But we are 51 minutes from launch, so they have this built-in countdown timer, which is super cool. Here we go. So this is like their frequently asked page. Yeah, they've got all these like sort of things. You just click on one and it shows. So so it's launching on the Falcon 9, so it will be SpaceX, and it's quite good. So it takes 13 minutes roughly after launch. We expect first communications, however, after roughly 5 minutes. Okay, so ocean color. Now everyone looks at the ocean and you see it is blue. Well, in some places of the world it's really nice and blue. Here in the UK it's kind of a grey, muddy colour. But yeah, so in terms of ocean colour, refers to Oh wow, I'm not going to try and read that. It's too early. So it's a visible light field that emerges from the ocean. The colour depends on solar. Wow. Okay, guys, I am not going to try and say any of these words. It has come up to 5:45 in the morning. I've just woken up. I am not saying these words. These are big. But if you guys want to look at these for yourself, I am going to quickly chuck them in the description down below. Because, you know, if anyone wants to have a look, go have a look down in the link. So it's updated now. So we are going to watch. Let me get rid of that. We are going to now get ready for NASA's. They'll do a pre-launch ceremony because, you know, NASA, they love to talk about their things. So they will probably talk about some other things as well. So yeah, it should be quite fun. And we should see a very nice rocket launch in just under an hour, which will be super, super cool. I've noticed quite a bit now, NASA have turned off comments because of the overwhelming flood they get of flat earthers now. Like, it is unreal. It feels like there are more. It feels like bots. They really do feel like bots because they don't have personalities behind them. They just repeat the same old, you know, copy and pasted things. So I do feel like there is some misinformation spreaders out there, and they are really driving it. Like, everyone distrusts the government, everyone distrusts scientists, and they'll latch on to anything that sort of agrees with their agenda. So it's going a bit crazy at the moment. I've had my fair share of debates with them on Twitter, formerly X. No, formerly X, no. X, formerly Twitter. And yeah, they, even if you can clearly, like, show that something they have posted is completely wrong and off, they will still argue it down, even though they probably know that that one thing is wrong. But I've taken to sort of just ignoring them now, because I found it was actually starting to really get on my nerves. And there's no point arguing with them. It's just no point. You can send them up in a rocket and they'll still say, the glass is curved, it's all, you know, there's TV screens in the windows. There's just no point trying anymore. And they're running late today. This is not like NASA. Well, actually it is like NASA, they're running late. But, alright, what did I want to get on over here? There was something I wanted to do, and it's, and you might notice, guys, down below me now, that view account thing is working, and my subscriber account is working now. I need to now turn on my YouTube chat because that's not showing up, but there you go. Right, and also, guys, the background is slowly getting cleaner. Now, I am going to be getting a better border around me soon, because I've actually had to crop my image down to fit this 16:9 thing, which I will be changing, but that's going to take me a while. Oh, come on, NASA, what's going on here? Now, I believe SpaceX are not, let me just make sure, are not going to be streaming this on, they're live on X. Oh wow, okay. Hmm. That is strange. Okay. Shall we switch over to X, guys? I really don't want to, but here we go.
Extremely excited to be doing this with all of you, right? There is a lot of excitement in the unknown. We can't wait to see what the public will do with this data as well. So thank you so much for answering my question, Laura. And for those of you watching online, you can also ask Laura your questions. Send them in using hashtag AskNASA.
Hashtag AskNASA.
Answered live during today's program. So we are now about T-minus 45 minutes until liftoff of PACE. So let's take a closer look at the satellite. The PACE satellite has a maximum weight of 3,748 pounds.
What's that in normal?
5 feet wide and 10 feet high.
What is 3,749 pounds in kilograms?
To enter its orbit of 420 miles above the Earth's surface.
So it's 1.7 tons.
Every 98.3 minutes.
Okay.
So about the same time it takes you to watch a movie. PACE will travel at 16,800 miles per hour using monopropellant hydrazine for its 8-thruster propulsion system.
Nice.
And the PACE satellite has been on the Space Coast for a few months now. It arrived back in November at the
this was meant to launch like a week ago.
And it was unboxed, processed, and then attached to the payload adapter and the payload adapter fitting. Last week it was encapsulated in the payload fairings before being transported to Space Launch Complex 40. The PACE satellite is now poised and ready for launch. Now, let's take a closer look at the mission with some social questions for our ocean expert, Laura Lorenzoni. We appreciate you for sending those in using hashtag AskNASA, and we ask you to continue sending them in.
So the quality just does not look good.
Our first question comes from someone called HiQ, and they asked,
I'm just gonna...
NASA has studied Earth's atmosphere in the past. What is it that you hope to learn that you didn't already know?
That is an excellent question. And one of the things that we're really looking to better understand is that relationship between the atmosphere and the ocean, and in particular aerosols. And so we know that the ocean produces aerosols, and these are also very important for cloud formation. And there are different types of aerosols. And so PACE is going to have 2 polarimeters looking at our atmosphere. And these aerosols are really critical for climate regulation. And it is one of the biggest uncertainties we have when we look at climate models. And these models are really, really essential for us to be able to understand where we are now and where we're going into the future. So PACE is really going to be able to help us better constrain our climate and understand what we should expect.
Right. Thank you so much for answering that question, Laura. We have another one coming to us from Instagram. Armando_305 on Instagram asks, will these studies help us learn more about red tides?
Excellent question, Armando, and absolutely. So PACE has one of the other, and it's the key instrument that PACE has is the ocean color instrument. And as the name indicates, it looks at the color of the ocean. But it looks at it in a way that
okay, NASA just pinned a comment saying that they are experiencing some technical issues.
They have different sizes and shapes, and
they're just troubleshooting it.
Differently,
and
this is like a fingerprint. And so
they say that we appreciate your patience. We will switch over to YouTube in a bit once they've got that sorted.
And this is going to help us then better understand the distribution of harmful algal blooms.
Yeah, live on NASA TV.
Right, so I mean, people...
Looks like someone forgot to put the right stream key in.
Savvy on YouTube also sent us a question. He says, what kind of data does the phytoplankton on the surface give?
So basically, it's light what we're looking at, and so this again, this very particular light signal.
Sounds like you need someone who knows YouTube.
Scott
Manley.
Exactly, yeah, a lot more to learn about these tiny phytoplankton microorganisms that live in the ocean. So clearly, there is a lot to unpack. There's a lot to know about this PACE mission. We ask that you please continue to send us your questions using hashtag AskNASA. But because there is so much to learn about PACE, Laura and I
I've just replied back. Oh, that's so funny. Scott Manley. That is brilliant. Literally, guys, that So they put up this, and then Scott Manley just put, "Sound like you need someone who knows YouTube."
Experience in the rocket industry, so we're glad to have your expertise here. Let's talk first about the weather. It was a big deal the past few days. In fact,
that's quality. That is so funny.
Calendar dates that we had. Low pressure system came over the state.
Like the fact that
wind,
they're on Twitter, they're on
the third day. Well,
NASA TV.
Nearly perfect conditions.
Clearly, someone's messed up something.
95%, absolutely. The last couple of days, it's been 60+% possibility violation.
Not working
weather,
on
but
YouTube.
it is clear tonight.
Like
really
it's working on Facebook as well.
Briefed us just a few minutes ago, and everything is absolutely perfect for a launch early.
Oh, that's quality.
There's a look at the rocket and the spacecraft on Space Launch Complex 40 out there at the Space
Associated Press has the NASA streaming playing on YouTube if you want to switch to the stream.
The booster is reused. We'll get a little more into that later on. But
there you go, T-minus 39 minutes.
Into the rocket. You can see some of the condensation from
I'm just keeping my
farm for the liquid
eye on
around there. We don't have any propellants in there yet, but we're about to go. You mentioned the weather. In fact, they dropped the weather brief that they do shortly before going with the propellant. So it's that good out there, folks. Let's talk a little bit about
it's gorgeous out in Florida right now.
Time in 60 years that we're getting a Cape Polar trajectory.
Oh, wow. It's going polar.
A mission with NASA.
Yeah, absolutely. We're going to be taking this Cape Polar trajectory, which is unique. We're going
to
get that a little bit later from one of our analysts, but looking forward.
I might have to try
we would launch out
do this on KSV2.
Let's listen to that poll.
Oh, here we go. So this is going to be the poll, which I don't think we normally get to hear.
Well, we did hear the poll by the NLM given at T-minus 44 minutes, and so that
it looks like they've messed up.
These polls will get a go as weather is green across the board, and we've already checked with the spacecraft team.
They pointed everyone to the NASA TV.
NASA's launch manager Tim Dunn polled the NASA team and the spacecraft team just before T-minus 44 minutes, and things look really great there. Team reporting go.
A bit late, actually.
Getting ready to load propellants.
I'm actually, it's Twitter,
so about
X,
35,
whatever you like to call it, actually shows that it's actually in front of all the other ones.
SpaceX has a number of polls that they do as well.
Wow. Oh, there's lots of laughy faces going off in their chat.
Down to propellant load, which happens at T-minus 35 minutes and counting.
Yeah, correct, Daryl. As we get ready to go,
that's mental.
The team is definitely looking at everything.
I still can't believe Scott Manley posted in there.
Making sure the vehicle
that is
ready.
Too funny.
And, these polls that we have through the evening or early this morning.
So the fact that there are 1,320 people viewing on Twitter, and there are 1,117 trying to view through Facebook, through YouTube.
Today, the first time in over 60 years, NASA is flying a polar orbit from the Space Coast of Florida.
I'm trying to think how.
I'm joined by flight design analyst Jimmy Smith with Launch
So is it literally
Program.
going
You did the flight trajectory
straight up?
mission.
So normally they go straight down from Florida. So say Florida's there, top Jacksonville, that lot, down to Miami Keys, Florida Keys, all that lot. Normally they go down that way. They're actually going to go that way.
We have to launch east
there you go.
and then dogleg to the right
wow.
to make it to our inclination target.
So it's actually going to go over
12 minutes and you're separating off the rocket.
Yes, we are direct inject to the target orbit, which means we just have one long burn, about a 7-minute burn of the upper stage to get us to the desired orbit.
And it's a steep climb on the way out.
Yes, so by the time
this is not
upper stage
the view.
vehicle gets to around the West Palm area, we're already at 180 miles up, and then by the time it crosses over the Homestead to Cuba area, it's already
wow.
Beyond the altitude of the International Space Station.
most launch viewers know, as the rocket takes off east, you kind of lose sight of it as it disappears on the horizon. But this is going south. Will people along the coast of Florida be able to see it?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so
100%.
especially people along the Space Coast will have a really tremendous view of the
From my
rocket
hotel,
descent and
I would be able to
start
watch it
heading,
go the
south
whole way
and
across the
also
horizon.
Return to launch site of the booster. People as far south as West Palm should get a pretty good view.
Yeah, if you haven't seen a booster come back, it's always
pretty
a
spectacular,
pretty
yeah.
cool show. Jimmy Smith, thank you very much for explaining that for us.
Oh, yeah, wait, this is a return.
Back out to the pad.
This is a
there.
return to
Falcon
launch
9
pad.
rocket.
Well, not launch
Standing
pad.
ready.
Landing pad.
Download in just about 30 seconds.
Oh, my God, I forgot about that.
Yeah, while you
What
were
was
talking
that?
to Jimmy, we heard SpaceX launch director Charlie Meyer give instructions to the team.
This
to
is
get ready
a
for
sun-synchronous
Falcon 9.
orbit.
As he gave those instructions, everybody looked like they were ready to go. So we'll start RP1 and LOX load here in about 10 seconds.
Nice.
Launch
Actually-
sequence has started.
And there is the call. They're now flowing RP1, which is a refined type of kerosene rocket fuel, into the first stage of the Falcon 9 rocket. So it begins. We'll be tracking the propellant load
just
as we
bumped
go. Let's take a quick look at the weather graphic for the conditions right now. I want to show you that before we peel out of here. You can see the winds 15 to 20 miles per hour out of the north. Temperature, a cool 59 degrees. And our percent go, greater than 95%. The only concern is a possible cumulus cloud that could come over top, but it doesn't look like that's in the offing today. A fantastic forecast for launch. And with that, we'll send it back to Jasmine and Laura in the studio.
Nice.
Thank you, Daryl and Mick. Wow, more than 95% go. That is great to see. So as we just heard those call-outs for loading liquid oxygen, we'll pause throughout today's broadcast for those operational updates so you can follow along with the action. Now let's check back in with NASA's Megan Cruz, who's standing by with the PACE project scientist. Megan?
Space Center. With me right now is Jeremy Wardell. He is, as Jasmine said, the PACE project scientist. Good morning to you.
Good morning to you.
How are you feeling being here?
Exhausted and exhilarated. Do you know what time
Right.
it is?
I do know what time it is, yes. We are very
Yeah, it's
close
only
to
like
that's why we're here.
one.
So, yeah, talk to me
What?
about how
It's
important
12.
oceans, which
Hang
are
on, hang on, hang on.
hugely
What is the
good
time right now?
Thank you for appreciating
It's
that.
officially 1
Oceans
a.m.
are
in
incredibly
Florida
important.
right
They
now.
produce much of the food that we eat and the oxygen that we breathe, but they also regulate climate and weather. They provide compounds used in medicines. They provide for our economy through jobs and recreation. And we know they're changing with Earth's warming climate. But there's so much left we have to discover and to study, and there are things that are happening on daily scales that affect our everyday lives to generational scales that affect the quality
Nice.
of the lives of our children.
Right. So then what will PACE reveal to us about the oceans that we don't already know?
Right,
Its reason
this
for being
looks.
primarily is the study of this amazing microscopic, mostly invisible living ocean. Target are phytoplankton. They operate just like land plants, but they're these beautiful, teeny tiny algae. Convert carbon dioxide into cellular material that provides the base of the food chain. Sometimes that carbon gets sequestered
I
or
can't sort of
stored in the
decide
ocean
which
for
one
millennia.
is better
The reason
quality.
we really care about them is we know that they're changing, and there are beneficial ones that feed fisheries. There are harmful ones that cause
Okay.
beaches, contaminate drinking water. But the ocean is big, right? So we need the vantage point of space.
Right, I'm going to put
study
my
them.
usual poll.
So today we are really great at saying I see phytoplankton. In an hour, we'll have tools in the toolbox to tell you what communities are there.
Let's see, guys.
We're
Let's
not
see what
only
people
focusing on
say.
the ocean, PACE is also looking at the Earth's atmosphere.
When it go
The ocean
boom,
and the
guys,
atmosphere are super
that is
interconnected,
always
and
the
you can't
question.
understand one without understanding the other. So PACE will provide these beautiful direct measurements of clouds and atmospheric aerosols, which are anything that range from pollen to sea spray to volcanic ash. You care about this because they inform on air quality, on short scales, and on long scales. You want to understand how clouds and these teeny tiny aerosols are warming and cooling our atmosphere.
Yeah, I love that we're going so far up the vantage point of space, like you said, to see this teensy bit of things that really
Teensy,
help us
teensy.
understand our Earth.
That's right, you heard me right. From 400 miles above Earth, we're going to see the microscopic ocean and atmosphere.
Great. Jeremy, thank you so much. I do know that you're tired, but I think it'll be worth the wait to stay up and see the launch today.
It was worth it so everybody could see the shirt.
Awesome, thank you so much.
That
Really
is
appreciate
actually
being here.
pretty cool shirt, I will
Thank
say.
you, Jasmine.
Thank you so much, Jeremy and Megan. So as you just heard, once PACE is in orbit above the Earth, it will help us observe plankton, which are tiny organisms that live in the ocean. So let's take a closer look at how these small life forms are having a
720p.
big impact on the planet.
Oh.
Plankton generally doesn't really mean like a taxonomic group of things. Like, we think about mammals and then plants, and plankton are not that. Plankton are really defined by the way they live. Plankton means the wanderer in Greek, and these are just oceanic organisms that really just don't swim that fast that they can fight the ocean currents. It's a really non-traditional way of thinking about biology in a sense. Plankton we can define traditionally in zooplankton, so something that is kind of more animal-like, and phytoplankton, something that is more plant-like. All phytoplankton does is what we call photosynthesis. They take carbon dioxide and carbon in organic form, capture some of the sunlight, and then produce carbohydrates, or just simply said sugars. They now are carrying that sun energy and push it into the food system of the ocean. And while they're doing all that stuff, they also produce the oxygen. So opposite from us, we inhale oxygen, exhale carbon dioxide. So that's why they're really important. That's why we love them so much, and that's why they're like really crucial for the whole life on the Earth.
A lot of people sort of, when you leave school, you kind of just forget about all this.
Diversity is gigantic. I think there's like 10,000 species, and each of them has a specific role.
Damn, that's
Why is there so
mad.
much diversity in something that is so teeny tiny? It's fantasy, science fiction, and horror comes together. I mean, it's just so beautiful.
Wow, look at that.
So the changes of the color of the ocean due to the presence of this phytoplankton are just so miniature, no? We cannot see it with our eyes. But if we have sensitive instruments such as ocean color instrument on PACE, we're going to be able to differentiate, not only because it's sensitive to the intensity, but it's also sensitive to the colors. Having this hyperspectral view with really high sensitivity is going to allow me to differentiate much, much more of the phytoplankton, because each of them, or at least each group, has its own optical patterns. It's an optical fingerprint. We're hoping that PACE, due to its capabilities, is going to be able to really focus on specific species of interest, such as the harmful algal bloom species, or species that are very beneficial for the growth of certain organisms. So this speciation is a function of the technical abilities that PACE has, but it's a function of our capabilities to understand the local ecosystem.
The hell is that? Like mussels or something?
Joining us now live in person to talk more about phytoplankton.
I was going to say, I look like a big ass camera, but it's not. It's a microscope.
Thank you for having me.
Of course, we're really excited to have you. So, as you know, the space coast of Florida sits on the Atlantic Ocean. So you took a field trip down to the water to get a phytoplankton sample. Can you walk us through what you did?
Definitely. So together with my colleague, Bridget Seegers, we went on just really close by here on the dock on Kennedy's side, and we deployed a plankton net. And plankton net is something that we use in oceanography to actually see what is in the ocean, like, see with a microscope. So imagine this plankton net being something of a butterfly net for plankton, but the pore size, these holes in that net are so teeny tiny that your hair cannot pass through it. And therefore that allows us to capture everything that is in the water, phytoplankton, zooplankton, all these planktons, and sometimes some other things that just fall from the atmosphere. So we have collected a lot that day because this area is really, really, thick with phytoplankton. So yeah, that's just something that we do to kind of like see what is in the ocean, and sometimes we look at it from the sky.
Right, awesome. So you went and collected this sample of phytoplankton here for us.
Yes.
Okay, awesome.
Here it is.
This can't be seen, of course, with the naked eye. So you also have a microscope, and you are going to teach Laura and I how to observe phytoplankton.
You literally get like a little tip, and you put one little drop between the two bits of glass.
I'm just going to take a little droplet
Yep.
of this water that we have collected.
Man, I ain't done stuff like this since like, well, when was I last actually in school? 2008, I left secondary school. So, flipping horror.
And I'm
Yeah, it'd have been 2005, 2006.
The magic, maybe.
Last time, because what? I didn't do science. Did I do science?
Okay, very nice.
Okay.
Did I do science in?
Okay, so what you
I must have done
here
science in
the middle of this
GCSE.
line, it's called a diatom. There's actually 4 or 5 different little cells together,
And the little dots inside are these chloroplasts
That's quite
that
cool.
they have, which is the green color that allows us to see it from space. Usually I would expect some runners running around here, which are little flagellates, which are sometimes animals, sometimes plant. They can do both things. But these guys in the center are really fascinating because these are the type of phytoplankton that live in the glass shell. And
pretty
they're
cool.
really, really good for carbon export. So, yeah, really fascinating.
Yeah, that really is fascinating. Our
I want to
audience
know
out
what
there
this
has a
bit
great
is
film,
here.
too. We have a beautiful view right behind you too, Ivana. So as we're kind of looking in this jar, we see, you know, this kind of dirt or something at the bottom there. It actually has color, right? So where does that color for the phytoplankton come from, Laura?
It's within the different phytoplankton species, and so each phytoplankton has a different size, different shape, and different pigments. And so that is what sets them aside from one another, and that's just like a fingerprint. And this
Oh,
is
they are
where
literally
it's
just doing
critical, because being able to
720p.
see the entire
Okay.
spectrum from the UV to the near infrared at such a fine resolution, it's going to be able to help us pick out what kind of species are in different types of water, what is the community composition, which is really critical for a number of functions that our ocean performs for us.
Right. So
Nice.
before in the past we could kind of
Right,
see
I'm
the
just going to
weather
turn my
that
heater
was
off, guys, because
identified
I'm getting a bit warm in here now.
water. So what does ocean color really tell us about ocean health, Ivana?
That's a great question. Oh, by the way, there's like one little swim.
Oh, yeah. Wow, look at him. He's swimming around.
Oh, wow.
So, you know, again, ocean color is highly dependent on phytoplankton that lives in there, and phytoplankton is based on marine food webs, so it's really directly connected to everything that we care about in the ocean, even like charismatic megafauna, but fisheries that we depend on. But the biggest, in my perspective, you know, service that ocean does and phytoplankton does is this carbon control of the carbon flux in the ocean.
Nice.
These little guys that I'm showing here, these diatoms, are really, really crucial because they're very good in taking this carbon from the surface and taking it down deep into the ocean, removing it from the contact with the atmosphere, and therefore allowing this carbon to flow and, in a sense, controlling our climate.
Right, we're really kind of seeing the Earth ecosystem come together for the first time
Exactly,
with PACE.
exactly.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Ivana, for that explainer. We really appreciate it. Now let's check back in with Megan Cruz, who's standing by with one of our key scientists from Goddard. Megan?
From
Yeah,
Goddard.
back here to OSB2, which is a viewing location here at Kennedy Space Center, and I'm with Krista Peters-Ladard. She's the Director of Sciences and Exploration at NASA's Goddard Space Flight Center.
We
Great to have you
have
here.
someone
What a great night
who's
for a
viewed.
launch.
Yes, it will go boom. I love it.
Talk to us about how PACE fits into NASA's
I
broader
very much
goals
doubt it's going to go
science
boom.
research.
Yeah, so PACE is
But
going to be
I love
part
the
of
optimism.
our
I love it.
amazing Earth science fleet, and it is going to revolutionize our understanding of the ocean.
Oh.
So we are going to use our recently launched satellite, the Surface Water and Ocean Topography Mission, SWOT, which tells us about the height
SWOT.
of the ocean. And then PACE will tell us about the biology of the ocean. So combining
See,
the two
all of
together will give
NASA's
us an
like
unprecedented
satellites,
understanding
they're all
of how our
connected
oceans work.
slightly.
And that's really important for understanding climate change and how the Earth as a system will respond through the carbon cycle as well as the water cycle to changes.
Yeah, really great science that's being done on this mission. But then how do people, everyday people, how are they affected by what we learned through PACE?
Yeah, so PACE really will impact three key applications areas. So the first is fisheries, the second is water quality, and the third is air quality. Fisheries are so important because we eat fish and we enjoy it, and
we do
base
love
of the
fish.
food chain comes from the phytoplankton and algae that PACE will help us to understand. In addition, though, there are harmful algae that can affect the water quality. We're in Florida where beachgoers might not be able to go to a beach because it's closed. And so
We have
understanding those
a
types of
local
not so good algae will help us
pond.
impact our
I
ability
say a
to
pond,
predict
it's a
that.
lake.
And then finally air quality,
that people
right? So
do
when
go swimming in,
wildfires
and it does
happen,
have
you know, the
a
dust
bad
and
set of
the smoke
algae that
transports
does
downwind, and
cause
so the
people not to be
aerosol
able to
emissions
swim
from PACE will help us
sometimes in
to
the year,
know where it
especially when
is,
it's
how
like
much is
really
there,
warm.
and then how much might
That one
impact
always gets
downstream.
closed
Krista,
due
really
to this
quick,
algae.
What's next after PACE? You know, PACE really sets us up for some really great science in the future.
Oh, yes. So the technology and science from PACE will feed into our next initiative, which is the Earth System Observatory. And being able to use those technologies from aerosol and clouds, understanding our Earth as a system, will help us to predict the future and how climate and the Earth system will react. So it's great.
Krista, thank you so much. I can feel your excitement. I really appreciate you being here.
Yeah, thank you so much, and go PACE.
Jasmine, back to you.
Thank you so much, Megan. So now Laura and I have some pictures to show you, one with only 8 crayons to demonstrate our current view of ocean color with satellites, but one with 128 crayons to show you where we are going to go with PACE and its instruments. So let's talk about this, Laura. How are we going from this to this?
We've come
stage
a long way,
one, lock
Jasmine.
loads.
And our heritage ocean color
locks
started back
load.
in 1978 with the Coastal Zone Color Scanner, a totally revolutionary instrument that allowed us to actually see how dynamic our ocean is. And the Coastal Zone Color Scanner was what we call a multispectral instrument. So basically, it only have a few colors that you could see what was in the water. So it didn't really help us differentiate all the wonderful species of phytoplankton that we've talked about and what is contained in the water. And while our technology has advanced and we've been adding bands to our multispectral instruments, we haven't had anything like PACE, which is truly hyperspectral and allows us to see the true color of our ocean. And PACE is not just wonderful because of this, but it also continues that long heritage of over 25 years of uninterrupted measurements that we've had, which is critical to really understand the trends in climate and ocean change that we have.
A little cough that keeps coming back. It's really annoying at the moment.
Stage 2 RP1 load was complete, but there is a lot to unpack here with.
I might actually fold down my table, guys.
From these 8 crayons, 128
I made
crayons, but really
this used to be my dining room table.
Connects us all, so it's only fitting that the PACE team has members from around the globe. Some of the children of those PACE
I made this table so that I can set it up and I can build stuff, because I always do stuff on my computer desk and I always make a mess.
Mucha suerte a todos los del proyecto PI. Buon viaggio, PACE. Watch us, PACE. Set on to PACE.
I'll have. I was going to say, I wonder what they were saying. There we go. Look at this, guys. I made. There we go. Now I have a table, guys. Look at that. How cool is that?
Estamos muy emocionados por PACE.
I have a lovely table, which actually, do you know what, can stay out while I'm streaming. I thought it was actually going to come out a bit further. Nice. Good luck, PACE. South Africa. Malaysia. Mexico.
That video was just precious. It really warms our hearts here. And I know that that was a project very near and dear to your heart, especially, Laura, right?
It was, and we received over 40 entries from 32 countries. And the one thing that I heard every parent tell me when they were doing this is how much fun they had with their kids putting these videos together. And that means a lot to us, because oftentimes our work at NASA is very time consuming. It can be a lot, and we wouldn't be able to do this if it wasn't because we had the support of our families. And the work that we do, so for example, the PACE mission really is done so that we can have a better planet for our children and their children. So this really meant a lot to all of us on the PACE project.
It really did. And Laura, thank you so much for just having all those parents and those in. It was really sweet. I know that you're here. Your son is here watching launch as well, somewhere nearby. And so this really is a family affair.
It is. And you can watch the entire video with all the entries on the PACE website.
Awesome.
That is pretty cool.
Nice to see. Thank you so much for that, Laura. So obviously, keeping the planet healthy is important for the next generation. And thanks to NASA's Office of STEM Engagement, we now have a new way to teach them about Earth and climate science. It's called Earthrise, a monthly newsletter that provides K-12 educators and learners with a focused collection of Earth science resources. You can scan the QR code on your screen now to register and learn more.
Nice.
All right, we are now about 16 minutes and counting from launch, so let's get a closer look at PACE and those 3 science instruments it will use to uncover a sea of data.
Where we are today, think of as the box of 8 crayons. And you can do a lot of amazing things with that. So the information content for any singular instrument on PACE is way more than we're used to. OCI is going to be the box of 96 or 128 crayons. And so suddenly,
do you know what's crazy? I don't think I've ever actually
brought
a box of crayons.
Provide global coverage every day.
I think I've only ever been like given them when you go to like a restaurant or something, and they have like they give the kids crayons. I don't think I've ever brought my daughter crayons.
We know the atmosphere is changing. We know carbon dioxide levels have increased. We know that it has warmed our atmosphere. Circulation patterns are changing. Places are warmer than they used to be.
Yep, it is warmer here in the UK.
We take into the relationships between the land,
currently
ocean, atmosphere
in the shed
alone. We don't know and we need to learn.
NASA
16 degrees.
To take that deeper dive with the Plankton,
What's the temperature?
Cloud Ocean Ecosystem Mission, or
it's
PACE.
5 degrees.
5 degrees outside
between the oceans, land, and atmosphere.
In February.
The
like
impacts of atmospheric particles
at
on marine
6 o'clock in the morning. That is
the changes
pretty
these
warm.
communities are experiencing in a warmer Earth, reducing the uncertainty of aerosols in scientific climate models. PACE will improve our understanding of these complex connections and how these systems are affected in a changing climate. The color of the oceans can tell us a lot about our changing Earth systems. And so PACE carries the Ocean Color Instrument, or OCI, to continuously measure the interaction of sunlight with substances in seawater, such as the green photosynthetic pigment chlorophyll A.
We're very good today at saying there's a lot of green, meaning there are a lot of plants. Where we want to go with OCI is what kind of plant is actually there. And so by looking at more color, you can actually start getting the subtleties of this green versus this slightly different shade of green, and then relate that to the composition of what you're looking at.
PACE's other two instruments are multi-angle polarimeters, one hyperspectral and the other hyperangular. Together, they'll take on aerosols, tiny airborne particles, and clouds, both of which change how sunlight interacts with the atmosphere. The data from PACE will help scientists reveal complex relationships that connect the atmosphere.
That is crazy that it's going to polar
in ways
orbit.
That help explain changes we see in our own lives, and in ways that impact generations to come.
The data from PACE could be used to inform industry and policymakers. To learn more about that, let's bring back NASA's Megan Cruz, who's standing by with one of NASA's lead scientists. Megan?
So I'm here now with Nikki Fox. She's the Associate
Nikki
Administrator
Fox.
for NASA's Science Mission Director. She's very cold. She just came from upstairs, and it's pretty windy out there, huh?
It is pretty cold still, yes.
The weather is still good for launch, so that's really good. Tell me how PACE is another important asset for NASA.
What's the temperature
PACE is
in
just,
Kennedy
yet
Space
another
Center,
jewel in
Florida?
the Earth Science Fleet. So we have 20 Earth Science
It's
missions
12
that are working
degrees.
together to study all different elements.
It is 12 degrees. That is not
PACE
cold.
Is joining that amazing fleet
probably
with this kind of unique capability.
a bit
of
chilly
looking
for
not
Florida,
just
I will
at the
say.
health of our oceans and all of that, but also at the health of the air that we breathe.
Yeah, how is it that these small little things in the ocean, the
Man.
atmosphere, the phytoplankton, and also the aerosols, how are those key for us to understand climate change?
So actually, because phytoplankton are just these amazing little beasties. They're about half the size of a human hair.
Wow.
They're tiny, and yet they actually they take about 50%. They produce about 50% of our oxygen. They take carbon dioxide out
A lot
of
of
the
people
air,
think that
like
trees
carbon
are like
dioxide,
our
sunlight,
biggest
some
producer
nutrients,
of
they grow,
oxygen.
they take the carbon
Actually,
dioxide
it
and
is
use
the
oxygen.
oceans,
So,
it's
and they
the
also are
plankton
the
and all
bottom of the
that
food chain, so they're like
that
little
cause a
superfood
lot
in
of
the ocean
the
as well. All different types of
CO2 to
phytoplankton,
oxygen
all shapes, all sizes,
scrubbing.
all playing their part in ocean health.
And then aerosols, why is that so key in the science that we're doing right now?
Actually, because aerosols is one of the least kind of understood in the climate puzzle. And so with PACE, we're looking not just at the ocean, but also at the air that we breathe. If you think about the wildfires that we had in Canada, and it came all over the U.S. down to Washington, even further, all through the Midwest. Smoke and pollution don't follow boundaries. They don't follow borders. We all breathe the same air. And so it's really about understanding each of the elements of climate all together, and go PACE. Isn't it wonderful?
It is wonderful. And what's wonderful, too, is that data from PACE will be shared with the public.
Yep, that's actually one of my favorite parts, actually,
too.
about Earth science, to be honest, because every single piece of data that they take is so important. And it is about getting this critical data and this sort of cutting edge science with these first of a kind observations that we make with our NASA spacecraft, getting it into the hands of people that need it, people that make decisions, our stakeholders that look after us as a community, make sure the drinking water is safe, make sure that the air we breathe is safe, and then, you know,
do you know what, I just had that song, the air that I breathe,
really
stuck in my head. And she said it.
You know, getting it
That's
out,
kind of funny.
making it usable, accessible, making it easy to understand, and also,
I'm going to make
you know,
this
getting it into our Earth Information Center, which
like
you
an
can see at
unboxing
earth.gov.
part.
Wow. To sum up everything you said, I mean, go Pace.
So if I was to
Go
sit
Falcon,
here,
go Pace, go Pace, please go Pace.
I can still see
Yeah,
that.
I'm so glad that you can come down here and warm up with us for a little bit. And
Oh,
now we're gonna
maybe
go
I
back
need
outside if you want.
That sounds great.
a second screen
Back to
over
you,
here.
Thank you so much, Megan
Ooh.
and Nikki.
I
NASA's
got
Artemis
ideas.
missions to the moon could
So if
help
I put a
inform
screen
our
up here,
understanding of Earth's oceans. To learn
and
how,
then
here's your Artemis Moon Minute.
Camera there as well. You guys then see that.
Observing and
Oh, there's
monitoring
so much
the
I
world's
could do,
ocean
guys.
from space requires very accurate measurements. And in the harshness of space, measurements from instruments in orbit can drift in accuracy, impacting the quality of satellite observations of Earth. So, we turn to the moon for help.
We are about
During
9
NASA's
minutes
Apollo
away,
era,
guy.
Scientists at the U.S. Geological Survey used lunar samples to develop the concept of lunar calibration.
Oh,
which
also,
uses the
guys,
moon as a
I may have
benchmark
got
for
myself
fine-tuning the accuracy of satellites
a laser
observing
pen.
Earth. And NASA's Artemis missions could provide new data to
I'm
further improve
being a
the
proper
accuracy
child at the
of
moment.
lunar calibration for satellites. NASA's PACE mission will take regular measurements of the moon to make sure its instruments continue to provide accurate data needed to understand how the Earth's atmosphere and ocean are changing. That's a look at your Artemis Moon Minute. So Laura, let's talk about that lunar calibration we just mentioned. How often will PACE take those measurements of the moon?
PACE is going to be looking at the moon twice every month. And it's important to realize that we've been
Twice
using
every
lunar
month.
calibration for a long
Nice.
time. CWIFs, MODIS, and VIRS.
That's pretty cool.
All of these top-of-the-art sensors that we've used to look at the ocean so far all have looked at the moon, and the moon is really important.
See, now,
to make
does
sure
this
that we
also turn this way?
have
Oh.
high-quality data that
Do you
is
know?
coming from our sensors.
Now that's really neat to see that we're actually using the moon
Oh,
to get a
I-
better view of Earth. So thank you so
There
much
you
for
go.
that, Laura.
I'm back. I
All
may
right,
have
so now
accidentally
we are only
unplugged
about
something.
8 minutes and counting from liftoff. So let's take a look back at Daryl and Mick to walk us through the final moments of the countdown and liftoff. Take it away.
Right, there we go.
All right, thank you very much, Jasmine.
Guys, it's
Laura,
almost
and
like
we are back in
I
Hangar
pre-planned all
UAE,
this
where we've been
so I can
monitoring,
do
the
like an
propellant tanks
unboxing
being
over
filled. We
here.
got 1 out of 4 down, 3 to go. And
This is
that's,
mad.
The one RP1 tank on the
So-
Stage 2.
on the stage 2, and then of course
All I've got to
we've
do,
got the
guys, is
full stage
buy
1 and
a
stage
secondary
2
camera
still filling up right now.
that can
Yeah,
go up
stage
there.
RP1 is almost complete. Team
I have another monitor
to fill the commodities in there. And get
that I could plug in, although I have promised that to my best
so
mate
far, things are going really well.
when he
And there
gets
you
to
see
set
Falcon
up.
9 out at the pad, Slick 40, as the propellants are flowing in. That's
Oh yeah,
showing
this is
that
at
the
Slick
oxygen
40,
condensing
so
warm
this is in
Florida
obviously
air,
KSC,
which is not as warm as it's
and you can
historically
see the
been,
new
9
crew
degrees, but
access
it's
tower.
Still humid, so you're going to see it condensing the air. And Mick, this booster though, this is a pretty young booster overall.
Yeah,
for
this is
SpaceX.
its
Only
4th
3
flight.
Previous flights.
Yeah.
We have a graphic to illustrate the launches that this rocket has accomplished, and there you see it all began with Crew 7 back in August of 2023, followed by another trip to the International Space Station with CRS-29, and then finally Starlink 634.
Oh,
So,
I hear a bus.
It had a human spaceflight mission. It went to the International Space Station. It also did a Starlink, and here is number 4 with PACE.
Well,
Yeah, Daryl,
technically the
very
booster
excited
didn't.
for flight on this booster. Launch Services Program actually supported our commercial crew.
And look, I'm actually wearing the NASA hoodie today, so it's fitting.
Booster and did some hardware reviews for them, and so we got started. So we know a lot of history about this booster, and as things move forward, there we just heard the call out for engine chill starting for getting things ready for launch this morning, as we have the RP1 and LOX filling up the tanks.
Yeah, those tanks are mostly full as we're looking at the rocket here from a distance. getting ready to complete that. In fact,
It
we
looks
should get a call
gorgeous.
out in just about 30 seconds that the stage 1 RP load is complete. And then we'll start moving through a number of milestones where we get that rocket ready to be on its own.
Yeah, absolutely.
Nice.
The team will finish that up, and then they'll start their sequencing to get ready for the flight
Stage 1
computer.
RP1 load is complete.
There we go.
There we
That's
go.
what we wanted to hear.
Stage 1 RP1 load complete, and as I was saying, the flight computer then will take over as sequencing the vehicle to get ready for launch as it ascends on its way on that 98-degree inclination that you and Jimmy talked about.
It's a steep inclination. It's going to get up into space in a hurry. A Cape Polar Orbit, which hasn't happened for NASA from this location in 60 years.
Wow.
It's an exciting
60
time to
years.
see a rocket flying to
Damn.
the south, going over Florida and Cuba.
Yes, heading south and then making a dog leg to get into that polar orbit. Normally we would do these from Vandenberg Air Force Base out in California. But due to the performance and things that we have on here on the Eastern Range with this Falcon 9, we can do this Cape Polar Orbit out of here.
That is
And so
pretty
very
cool.
Excited to see that happen after 60 years.
A number of milestones coming up here shortly in just a few seconds. We're going to retract the strong back that's holding the rocket in place that you see out there on the pad, and we're also going to get the
So
spacecraft
basically,
on internal power.
just over here, you can just see a little pincer, and it basically holds. Actually, let's do this. So it holds around,
For strong back retract.
and it's going to open up. And they'll open up to about there, and then it will pull back slightly, ever so slightly.
So there we heard strong back retract, as you mentioned, Daryl, and also heard from the launch manager and the SMD for the spacecraft.
It's
that
still
they
not.
are
The sun
on
still
internal
hasn't
power
come up.
configured
Actually, what
for
time?
launch, so things are moving
What time
along
is sunrise?
here very quickly as we get ready to get down to T0
Strong back retract has started.
and lift off pace this morning.
Okay. Why are
Now
you
the
not?
Strong back will retract just about 2 degrees prior to launch. It'll go further once the rocket lifts off.
What time is
Clearing the
sunrise?
way to allow the rocket to go.
Oh, it's really struggling. Why is it struggling? What time is sunrise?
Sunrise will be at 7:30 today.
So, in basically an hour, we will get sunrise.
LD, this is MLM on Countdown Net.
Oh,
LD. Pace is go for launch.
hey.
Copy.
Right, guys, I'm going to end the poll.
All right, NLM Tim done.
Um,
the go for launch for the NASA team, the spacecraft team.
Get your votes in now. I'm going to end the vote
SpaceX now
in 18 seconds. So get your votes in now.
LOX load complete here in about 15 seconds for stage 1. In about another minute
Right,
for stage 2.
7,
But as we're
6,
looking at the data here in
5,
front of us,
4,
Daryl here in Hangar 8,
3,
things are progressing
2,
very well,
1,
and the team is
and I'm
performing
ending the vote now.
admirably this morning, getting this vehicle ready for
Well,
liftoff at 1:33:36.
one person has decided to do the poll,
LOX load is complete.
There you go.
and it
Stage
that is
1,
mental.
we're just waiting to finalize LOX load on stage 2 and continue moving forward, and then we will get into some of that flight sequencing and getting the autonomous flight termination system ready to go, and then the final go at 45 seconds from SpaceX before they turn the vehicle over to the flight computer.
Once they get down to 45 seconds, there's no more holding the launch on the count of the spacecraft. They'll be committed at that point.
Yeah. So this is an
Absolutely. Having all this, cold
instantaneous
box in on the first stage and
launch.
second stage commits us to this time, and things are looking good.
There was a slight adjustment to the T0, Mick. It was 1:33 and 32 seconds, but it slipped 4 seconds due to a COLA real quickly. Why is that?
Yeah,
Stage 2 LOX load is complete.
Over here, stage 2 complete, so that's a good sign. But the COLA is our collision avoidance analysis that we need to do to make sure
Oh,
we don't
wow.
hit something that's in space already as we lift off and ascend this morning. And the original time, as you said, was 1:33:32, and we had 4 cola conjunctions this morning for those seconds. So we went to the next
ground gas closeouts.
There you go, guys. The reason why they don't hit things is because they plan and they know where everything is.
Able to adjust very quickly for the 4 seconds and get ready for launch this morning.
And you see the large plume, the large cloud coming around the Falcon 9 rocket, and that's the venting off of the liquid oxygen in the line that runs up to the second stage. Proceeding now, T-minus 1 minute and counting until liftoff of PACE and the Falcon 9 rocket.
Falcon 9 is in startup.
Here we go. Here we go, guys. We are under 55 seconds away.
Startup, configuring all the systems. Autonomous FTS is being configured. The systems are being
SpaceX launch director, go for launch.
Nice. Here we go, guys.
T-minus 40 seconds and counting. Many on the PACE spacecraft team now going outside to watch this launch. It should be a beauty.
It should be a beauty.
30 seconds.
Here we go. Where's the countdown timer? Where's our SpaceX feed? Are they not going to do it? They're just going to give us the raw input. Okay.
15 seconds. T-minus 10.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4,
3, 2, 1.
Booster ignition.
Lift off.
And liftoff of the Falcon 9 and PACE, helping keep pace with our ever-changing ocean and atmosphere.
Oh, out of focus. There you go, in focus.
Propulsion is nominal.
Nice.
All 9 Merlin engines lit up and roaring. 1.7 million pounds of thrust.
Look at it go. It is going.
Chamber pressures on the telemetry. Aero 9 engines performing very well.
Dang, that is quite loud actually.
It's great news.
Power and telemetry nominal.
Makes its steep climb into its orbit. Right about 2 minutes on the first stage.
So from my hotel looking at this, it would go across like that. It would actually go left to right, which would be even cooler, rather than normally I would have seen it go straight over.
Max Q, the vehicle continues to perform nominally. All 9 engines fire.
Nice, look at that. So this is the only thing about nighttime launches, you can't really see much. But look at that tracking shot, that's nice.
Starting to chill the second stage engine to get that ready. Bleed a little bit of LOX in there so it doesn't get thermal shock once they light it up. A view there, looking down the first stage booster. Getting ready to cut off the engine.
Cool, you can see actually how it's turning.
Milestones all happening quickly.
You can see the way the flame is sort of being diverted that way.
We're about 10 seconds from main engine cutoff, and then we'll have stage 1, 2 SEP, and then stage 2 ignition.
Alright, so we should get Miko. Look at that. Oh. Miko, there we go.
Stage separation confirmed.
There it goes.
Nice, and it's got a big engine bell.
Second stage.
Look at that. Oh wow.
You see the glow of the first stage as it falls away.
Oh wow, look at the engines. That's on the
that first stage come back here
second that's the first stage.
This morning. That will be great as stage
Oh wow, look at that flying through its own plume.
Getting that stage back here will be exciting.
Oh wow, look at it. You can just see it flying off.
Double thunderclap at just about T plus 7 minutes.
I love it, thunderclap. It, basically, as it comes into the atmosphere, it breaks the sound barrier.
Breaking the sound barrier
there you go.
Returns to Earth.
Stage 1 boost back shutdown.
That was cool.
So now the first stage has positioned itself on a return trajectory back here to landing zone 1, which is only a mile or so from our location at hangar AE. We get quite the thunderclap.
Yeah, I always love to hear the landing zone back here when we're in the hangar. We're about 10 seconds away from jettison fairing of the payload fairing.
Actually, the fairing
to the atmosphere.
This is a big moment for the spacecraft team.
I'm guessing the direction it's going, there's a bit more atmosphere, so they've doing the fairing a bit later.
Looking inside,
nice.
There go the fairings, revealing the PACE spacecraft.
Oh wow, you even saw the reflection of the. Oh, actually, I think that's
now PACE will seek to get a signal.
I think there might be a fairing
for our first acquisition of signal
over there, or is that
this will be
a part of the rocket?
Downlink of a low-level signal on the TDRS network, utilizing the telemetry network to verify that PACE is the transmitter is on, and then they will continue.
You imagine they do all this and they don't turn the transmitter
until
on.
Separation, and then be able to get their data once they get power positive that we'll see later.
And in that moment you just described, that time period that you just described, they'll only be monitoring data coming from the PACE satellite. They will not be sending any commands in.
Absolutely. Nothing until the spacecraft separates from the stage 2. The spacecraft team will
look at that.
continue to monitor the health of the spacecraft using the TDRS network and looking at the telemetry. Everything so far on second stage is performing very well. Looks good on our trajectory.
I feel like the second stage is really giving it beans today. I don't know why, but it feels like it's really pushing.
They just made a call.
It feels
Somebody
really
called
shaky.
but nobody's in.
If you see here, you can see it is shaking about. Oh wow, look at that. So that's from the booster coming down.
Stage booster.
So my hotel is like somewhere over here. Way over there.
It's a pretty shot.
That is cool.
I love that shot. Seeing the coast of Florida come back into view.
2 more burns left.
Stage 1 entry burn startup.
That's
so we should now lose sight of this.
Seconds. See it lighting up now.
Yeah.
Great
oh
fins
wow.
out to help give it a precision landing, guiding the
that
first
is
stage
mad.
booster back to landing zone 1. Split screen.
Oh,
now.
look at that.
There's
Stage
a shot.
2 FTS is saved.
There's a shot of the booster coming back down from the ground.
Nice.
Stage 1 FTS is saved.
Okay, that was cool.
All right, in comes the first stage booster. Second stage.
Mate, that is
continuing
mad.
on a nominal trajectory.
Look at it coming in. Look at the like atmospheric pressure going around. The grid fins is so cool.
To see it'll be really nice to see that as it gets closer. The coast of Florida as we come up on.
See, I do like daytime launches.
Normally on a great.
But you can really make out places better during nighttime. Look, it looks like it's screaming into the earth.
Stage 1 landing burn.
Here we go. Look, it gets a bit shaky.
All right, there goes the landing burn. In just a few seconds, we'll have a booster on the ground.
Are they going to show us the tracking footage? Last landing was mental. There we go. So they're going through a cloud.
Look from the ground. We hear the thunder here at
we
hangar
hear those
AE.
double claps.
Landing leg deploy.
Oh wow, that was a bit of a last minute correction.
Another pinpoint
It's there.
landing.
It's done.
First
Nice.
stage booster, flight number 4 for the first stage in the books. Second stage continuing to burn on a 7.5 minute direct inject into orbit. This will be a quick ride, Mick.
Very quick as it continues to perform very well. We're looking for this to continue firing, and we'll get second stage cut off at around T plus 10 minutes, but things look very well on the telemetry. Vehicle's performing very well. And
It's just, it must be the camera. The camera must be slightly loose, or there's some like minute
Second
vibration.
stage polar
that is causing it. Because look, you can see
done by NASA
it's
in the past 60
moving.
years. SpaceX, though, has done it 11 times. This would be the 12th.
Right. Here we go. So we are coming up on the completion of the stage 2 burn. I think they said T plus 10 minutes.
9 minutes.
No.
On the count.
You're slightly ahead, mate.
Just about 3 minutes left. Actually, check that. Just about a minute left.
I was going to say, it's T plus 10 minutes, isn't it?
There will only be one stage 2 burn.
Yeah, as Jimmy explained to us in the trajectory, this is a direct inject sun synchronous orbit. So just a single burn for the stage 2 this morning. And things continue to look well. Chamber pressure on MVAC and trajectory look nominal.
And then we'll coast for just a few minutes and separate the PACE Observatory.
Not bad. So we're coming up on 15 seconds till completion.
Standing by for stage 2 cutoff, known as SECO 1. We'll have that in
There
just
we
a few
go.
seconds.
And it should say nominal orbit insertion. Is it going to stop? Oh, there you go. It looks like it's reducing down. Is it reducing down? Hello. Right, it might. There you go. God, look at the look at the flex
Right, there you have it.
on the actual engine belt. It goes whoa,
Coast
whoa,
for a few
whoa,
minutes.
whoa, whoa.
And take a look at the forward-facing camera. So we can see the PACE spacecraft, which is being monitored by the spacecraft team.
Oh, there we go. So that's what it's done. So it's just absolutely honed it up, done a dog leg that way. That is crazy. What I love is they've actually got like a light on the back just purposely so that they can see everything. What was it? There was a flat earth the other day going, oh, well, if it's in space there should be no light if it's launched in the dark, so why do they see it? They put a light on it. There's literally lights built onto it so they can purposely see. Look at the ice. Wow.
As we get ready for spacecraft separation.
Just about 1 minute away.
Wow, that's mental. That's like
This is
the...
a big moment for the PACE spacecraft team. One in which they're holding their breath a bit. There you see PACE now.
So that should be stars. Them bits there actually should be stars.
From the front of the stage 2, looking at the PACE spacecraft.
That is very, very cool.
Out there in that dark space right now, things are looking really well, and I love that. Love to see that camera view.
Nice.
Dark indeed, as they launched into an orbital eclipse.
Orbital
So
eclipse.
PACE has no sunlight on it, as you can see.
Apart from the one light that they've
The
put.
hope is once they get those solar arrays deployed, a critical moment, they're going to be looking to get power on it.
There we go.
goes PACE.
Nice. Look at that.
Off into space on its own, flying free. We've got applause here at the Mission Directors Center at Hangar
So
80.
there are the solar panels right there, and they
Looks like a
just
good separation
fold out
vehicle.
sort of like that, like
Pretty
that.
stable.
Very, very cool.
The launch vehicle performed very
satellite.
well today, and glad to see PACE separated. We've got a few more milestones that the team will be working on.
God, there's some proper like signal.
Hopefully we can have this view for a bit longer. You see stacked to the right side of the screen.
Yep.
The 3 lines. Those are the solar arrays. It's a 3-panel
Look at that.
array.
I'm pretty good, me. It's almost like I researched it before doing the stream.
It's got basically nulled the rates. The spacecraft is stable. it'll start to deploy those solar arrays. And it will be done autonomously.
We can see another star coming up here.
It's dark out
slowly.
there, so we're starting to lose our view.
Over the next 3 years, PACE will view and collect data about Earth's atmosphere and ocean surface, expanding on NASA's long-term observation of our planet. Nice. Well done, SpaceX.
We are now passing the milestone in which we expect the solar arrays to be deployed. Again, this is the expected milestone. It's dark out there. Again, no sunlight. Now you're looking at a view of
My friends just sent me a holiday offer.
Front row there, staffed by the team from the Goddard Space Flight Center as they look anxiously at their monitors.
Economy standard.
The solar arrays are expected to take a few minutes to deploy. If it holds to the milestone,
Premium.
so we just got word that they have confirmation the solar array deploy has begun.
Nice. So they're already deploying the solar
And
panels.
Solar array deploy has begun for the spacecraft. It's a 3-panel array. It's a critical milestone.
Oh, I just noticed actually, if you turn down the volume on my phone,
hand with that, Mick,
the keyboard still doesn't go. Oh, it's because it's not on mute. That's why.
Sun pointing. Can't do it yet because there is no sun in its current state.
Damn, that's...
We got a good ride into space.
Mate, he's like, I'm off now. See ya. I'm going to bed.
The nets here and the PACE spacecraft team. But in the meantime, we're going to send it back to Jasmine and Laura.
Oh man.
Thank you so much, Daryl and Mick. A
Wish we'd
beautiful
actually
launch
see
followed by
like
a
a
smooth ride into space so far for PACE. Laura, what do you think?
It was absolutely stunning, and we are so relieved. Everybody in the PACE team has been cheering. All of our NASA players have been cheering.
Nice.
As have all
So
of
the one person that voted on my poll, you were wrong. It did not go boom.
It really is. That was a great way to put it, Laura. So if you are just joining us, you are watching NASA's official coverage of the PACE launch. That's the Plankton
Nice.
aerosol cloud ocean ecosystem. It lifted off about 16 minutes ago aboard a SpaceX Falcon 9 rocket from right here on Florida's Space Coast. So
Oh,
now
the
PACE
birds are
is
starting to wake
on
up.
its way to orbit 420 miles above Earth, where it will collect data on both particles in the ocean as well as the air. Let's take a closer look at how those are connected.
Between September 2019 and March 2020, wildfires killed billions of animals and decimated more than
Yep.
200,000 square kilometers of Australian forest.
It's crazy.
Some
The
thousands of kilometers away in the southern
wildfires.
ocean, massive algae blooms covered a surface larger than the area of Australia itself. Just how are these wildfires and ocean blooms connected? To untangle that, we look to the carbon cycle. The carbon cycle is the flow of carbon between reservoirs in the atmosphere, plants and animals, land and ocean. If we look to the ocean reservoir, carbon dioxide is also absorbed by phytoplankton, microscopic organisms that convert carbon dioxide, water, and sunlight into carbohydrates like sugar and oxygen through photosynthesis. Carbon
I
dioxide
feel like I'm
released
back at
into
school
the
doing some
eventually becomes available for
scientific
aquatic photosynthesis.
education.
The photosynthesis also requires nutrients such as nitrogen, phosphorus, and iron. Without the right proportions of these nutrients,
Wow, I am literally back in
photosynthesis
science
doesn't
right
happen,
now.
which can be seen in the iron-limited parts of the ocean, such as far offshore of Australia. Atmospheric aerosols released by fires, however, contain carbon as well as other nutrients essential for plant growth, like iron. When these aerosols are deposited on the ocean's surface, these nutrients become available for photosynthesis. This iron from the Australian wildfires is now thought to have stimulated the massive southern ocean phytoplankton blooms of such magnitude that they converted an almost equivalent volume of carbon dioxide released by the fires into carbohydrates and cellular material.
With an instrument like OCI, where you're measuring this full spectrum of color,
that was really cool. I like that map.
We can start teasing apart the species and the different functional groups and different communities that exist.
The data from PACE will help define those communities, allowing for clearer connections within the reservoirs of the carbon cycle. These fires emitted a huge amount of carbon and other aerosols into the atmosphere. Those aerosols contained essential nutrients that are thought to have stimulated the rapid growth of phytoplankton in the Southern Ocean. And these kinds of connections can
look at that, it goes all the way down to South America and like
to know where the carbon
further
is, where
around.
the food source is going. This is important for not just climate studies, but food security.
With data from PACE, we'll get a clearer picture of carbon as it links land use and fires, atmospheric aerosols and marine communities, and ultimately...
See, I can hear all the flat earthers right now going, oh, they got a picture of it in space, it's fake. No, that is an actual photograph of it transitioned onto a photo of space. That technically is fake.
One of NASA's experts on climate science right now. Megan?
I am Kate Calvin. She's NASA's chief scientist and also the senior climate advisor for the agency. What a beautiful launch we just saw.
It was beautiful. It's so exciting to see this mission go and start to send us data soon.
Yeah, so let's talk about that. You know, PACE is going to advance our understanding of the Earth's climate and how it's changing so drastically, right?
I would love to put a satellite in space, honestly. I want my own satellite.
Since modern record keeping began. And that warming trend is driven by greenhouse gases, including carbon dioxide. And PACE is going to give us a better understanding of how the oceans absorb carbon and that exchange of carbon between the ocean and the atmosphere. It's also going to tell us a lot more about these tiny particles in the atmosphere called aerosols that can reflect or absorb sunlight and affect cloud formation, all of which is really important for climate.
So we're obviously going to learn a lot, but how can we use that data and turn it into how we address climate change?
So one of the important things, the more we understand about climate, the better we can predict it in the future. And we can take that and use that to help better plan. And that's something we're working on throughout NASA, is helping people understand what's happening where they live, what we know about what might happen in the future, and make sure they have that information ready at their fingertips. And PACE is going to help contribute to that.
And what I love about this,
it's still not
PACE
getting
is
light
now
outside.
the only Earth-observing satellite out there, and in particular, it's going to work with one that launched just last year, or a little bit over a year ago, that's really going to help us get a better understanding of our oceans.
Yeah, absolutely. So NASA has more than 24 satellites and instruments in orbit. They're each designed to measure something different. So we can see things like vegetation, carbon dioxide, clouds and precipitation, or oceans. And so you mentioned the satellite from about a little over a year ago called SWOT, or Surface, Water, and Ocean Topography. So what SWOT's looking at is the physics of the ocean. So how the water moves, the height of the seas, how it mixes. What PACE is going to do is tell us what's living in that water. And they're both really important because the oceans absorb a lot of heat and carbon, and understanding how the water moves and what's living in it will help us better understand that.
And really quick, what would you say to the team right now as they're about to embark on a wonderful opportunity to learn so much for the Earth?
Oh, this is just such an exciting time. It's such a great mission. It's taken a while to get here, but we've launched, and in no later than 60 days from now, we'll start to have data, and it's going to give us information not just about climate, but about air quality, water quality, fisheries, harmful algal blooms, and it's just really exciting to be here.
And that's data we're going to share with the public, so that's exciting as well.
Absolutely. All the data will be publicly available.
Great. Kate, thank you so much.
Nice. I might have to actually look this up.
All right, so you guys have been hearing Daryl and Mick talk about waiting for power positive, so let's turn it back to them so they could walk us through that next milestone.
Thank you very much, Megan. Back here at Hangar AE, we heard some brief applause when we had the spacecraft separate, but now comes the big moment, getting that confirmation that the solar arrays...
I have to say, NASA always do seem to have a problem with data loss and stuff like that. Are they using like really old technology, or are they just...
All right, there you see a look inside the Mission Director's Center.
Is it just like a bandwidth problem?
As the teams...
Like... it always seems to have a problem. I'm looking in the windows and everything, like trying to get the
T plus 23 minutes.
The reflections. It looks like it's over somewhere.
Pace launched into an orbital eclipse.
That one and
so once the solar arrays are
that one over
presumably
there.
deployed,
I'm trying to look at it.
comes out of the eclipse.
Looks
the
like a
spacecraft
map.
will automatically orient itself towards the sun. And that's when the team will be able to see that power flowing through the solar panels at a rate that would tell them that it's sun pointing and it's in the right place.
Sun pointing and charging that battery back up. You know, they've been on internal power, using that battery power for flight, and so that solar panel will help them get the vehicle charged back up and continue their mission.
That's right, those batteries are key, Mick. As we learned throughout the program, this PACE spacecraft orbits the Earth every 98 minutes. And as it does
98
so,
minutes,
it
dang.
goes in from the sunny side to the eclipse side. Those batteries help power it through the dark phase. So charging those batteries are key to PACE carrying out its mission. If you're just joining us, we had a successful liftoff
Atlantic.
at 1:33 and 36 seconds a.m. Eastern Time from Launch Complex 40 here at the Cape Canaveral Space Force Station. We rode the first stage of a Falcon 9 rocket for several minutes before it separated, came back down to LZ-1 after about 7 minutes. Stage 2 of the rocket then flew PACE for about 7.5 minutes, ultimately separating around 12.5 minutes after liftoff. And we watched as PACE went on its own into space.
I have a dog hair.
And
I
separated
had loads
from
of dog
stage
hairs
2.
in my sleeves. Some stupid reason.
Midst of an eclipse, so it was a quick goodbye. We saw it go off.
Yeah, it was
into the
gone.
darkness of space.
Yeah, I'll tell you, the pictures from stage 2 were incredible. Not only watching PACE.
I'm just going to throw a...
from stage
There we
2,
go, like that.
but just continuing on its way to perform this exciting mission that we've heard all about this morning. But that video, just, you know, it was exciting to watch that and be a part of this. And I know the PACE team is anxiously awaiting that power positive information. But you know, we got PACE where it needs to be and on its way. So this is a great start to the launch this morning.
Jim Free, NASA's Associate Administrator, is here on hand. He is there in the control room. You can see him in the second row in the middle, the fourth from the right. All along the first row, the teams from the Goddard Space Flight Center.
Gotta. I swear he just said the gotta.
They have a team back at Goddard that is
It's gotta.
online as well. Mission Operations Center. And that's where the spacecraft will be commissioned. And it is also where they are sending commands and receiving telemetry at this very moment.
The hell is that? Sounded like an aeroplane coming over
Spoke to PACE test
the top of
director
me.
Ghani, and
There wasn't. There's
she
nothing.
relayed to me that
I'm
this
looking on
is,
my flight tracker. There's nothing.
These are some tense moments, you know, as the team watches and
I'm gonna sneeze, guys.
waits to get that confirmation that the sun is shining on the solar
Oh,
rays
man.
and it's oriented in the correct direction. Once they get that confirmation, I'm sure we'll see a reaction from the team. according to the milestones, we are at the point in which the Goddard spaceflight team can command the spacecraft after waiting for a period of time as it came off of the second stage. And so they don't get anything mixed up with the second stage of the rocket as it's going into a disposal burn and the spacecraft is going on into its orbit. T plus 29 minutes and counting.
Right, here we go. So that's how much? £132.
Moment where we would expect the milestone of power positive to happen, but we also know and have been told by the Goddard team that it could take a little longer.
So how much is that?
Yeah, Daryl, I know as the spacecraft team is waiting for this information, the launch vehicle team has been doing a quick look on how stage 1 and stage 2 performed today, and so far everything is reporting in as perfectly performed launch vehicle today. As we saw in the video spacecraft setup, Falcon 9 delivered pace where it needed to be. So that's good news on the quick look of the launch vehicle. And I know that the PACE team is excited to be where they are, just waiting for that power positive confirmation.
Great report out there, Mick. And as PACE was delivered to an orbit 674 kilometers, about 400 miles above the Earth's surface. PACE has 10 years of fuel on board to do its observations and report back its scientific data. But you never know with these satellites. They can go a lot longer. Just depends on how they use their fuel in the course of the next 10 years. Scientists, of course, always want more data.
Always more data needed.
When a spacecraft exceeds expectations, as often they do. Again, if you're just joining us, we are awaiting confirmation of a milestone called power positive. That milestone means that the PACE spacecraft has oriented itself into the sun and deployed its solar arrays fully so that it's getting power on all 3 panels so that it can charge its batteries and begin turning on the scientific instruments.
Wow, is it going to work, guys? Are they actually going to...
32 minutes and counting.
Are they going to actually get power? So they're just waiting now for low-level pings back, basically. And meanwhile, hello, nice to see you. Hello, Daily, as I was going to say FCC. It's not. Oh, my eyes. It is just gone 7 o'clock in the morning here, so I am tired. So basically, what is going on? They have just sent a satellite into space, and now they've deployed the solar panels, and they are just basically waiting for a few pings to say we are starting to get power, basically. Once they've done that, I'm ending the stream because, well, I woke up at 4 a.m. this morning to get ready for this.
Take a deep breath.
Nope, I'm getting no copyright strikes. This is all available to show. Yeah, no, this is all absolutely fine to stream. Oh, they're clapping. That's good. They're all clapping, and they've just done a high 10.
See the applause there in the mission director
Nice. That's very
the
cool.
spacecraft team happy to report that they have power positive.
How do we know if it's
on
fine?
the spacecraft. Again,
I don't actually know, to be
final
fair.
milestone, power positive
I've been led to believe that
solar array.
NASA, you know, because they're an
spacecraft.
educational
That's great news.
thing, they show everything you're allowed to do.
Pace team.
Most of the things that
Successful mission.
they show. And also, this is streamed. Like, there's other big YouTubers that are streaming this as well. So if they can do it, we can do it.
On its way, power positive. That is a
So yeah, that's pretty cool.
For Pace.
There we go. So they have done it.
Launched at 1:33 and 36 seconds a.m. Eastern Time from the Space Coast here.
So it's
Space Launch Complex
5:53 UK time.
We rode the Falcon 9 for about
When you live next?
7.5 minutes.
Good question
and got
actually.
into space.
So
We watched Pace separate about 12 minutes after that.
when is the
Then,
next rocket launch?
at
What day is it?
T+33
It's Thursday, isn't
minutes
it?
Roughly. We got
It is
confirmation that
Thursday,
now with the
yes.
solar arrays had
So
deployed,
let
but
me
also
just get
Pace
my
had
app open.
aimed
Let's
itself
see.
towards the
Because I
sun.
am. What
Once
am I
the
doing today?
spacecraft came out of a,
I'm busy today.
orbital eclipse.
I'm still actually off
Very
work,
big
which is
moment,
good.
and a very exciting to,
So
you know,
the
not only
next
get Pace
one
on its way, have the
is
launch vehicle perform the way it
12:55
did, bring the,
a.m.
Booster back to
So
landing zone 1.
basically,
you know, I've told you this many times before, but this never gets old for me. I love this.
Yeah,
I'm
in
so excited for not only the launch vehicle team,
17
but for
hours,
the Pace
I will be
spacecraft.
live again
Very excited to see
with
them on
a
their way
Starlink
for this exciting
mission.
Job well done by all today,
Hopefully,
and,
they don't
certainly,
scrub this
now,
one. It got
Pace
scrubbed
team,
last
they're
night.
rest easy, but they're still working.
So,
The power
yeah,
team's gonna stay on
I'll be
for
live in
another,
17 hours.
couple of orbits,
No rest for the wicked
3
here.
hours to make sure that they see
What
that
app do
power
you use? So
data
I
is
use
trending in the
OBS to
right
stream.
direction. And, of course,
And then
mission
I
of the
just
Pace
literally
satellite will take another 60
hijack
days
any
before they can start getting
of their
in some
Twitter.
of that,
Usually it's
scientific
Twitter or
data.
YouTube
But,
streams.
this launch, of course,
So
the
OBS
first
is
launch
free and
for
it's
NASA's launch
super
services
easy.
program,
Once
but
you
it
set
is,
everything
as I
up,
understand, the last launch for a very special member
the
of your team.
stream stuff, like I call them stream elements, so the view accounts, the sub goals, the chat, that's all by Streamlabs.
Of a remarkable journey. Amanda, I just want to say you're amazing. Your leadership transcends the boundaries of launch services program. and
yes,
the space
so
Resonating across
Starlink,
the
you can
entire
do
space
any of the
community.
Starlink, any
Even with
SpaceX
your
stream
extraordinary
is
achievements, you remain
100%
remarkably humble in your
okay
role.
to
You
stream.
always challenge us to
You
strive
can
for
show
success.
any of that.
Over the past
SpaceX,
14 years, you have
their
steered the
music
launch
is
services program with
royalty free,
unwavering dedication,
so you won't get any
maximizing
problems with
mission
that.
success and contributing significantly to the evolution of the space industry. Your mentorship, your
But yeah,
friendship,
no,
and your
it's
compassionate
pretty
leadership
good.
style have been the driving force behind our team's pursuit of excellence. It is no surprise that you stand as a Divas Award winner, and your absence will be deeply felt. As your
Oh, is this
LSP
the
family, we
person
gather this morning on
leaving?
This your final mission to say,
Yeah.
see you later. While we will miss
I've
you dearly,
been-
we hope
I've
you
been
realize
past
the
here.
profound impact you've had on each of us. The collective achievements,
StreamYard.
the shared
Yeah,
memories,
I'm using a
and the spirit
Chromebook
of
to
excellence
stream.
you instilled within us are the testament to your remarkable leadership.
Honestly, I don't know.
As you
I've
embark
not
on this
really
new
got
chapter of your
low
life,
end
know that
gear.
your influence extends far beyond the boundaries
But
of the launch pad.
I'm guessing
You are not just retiring.
OBS doesn't even
You're passing the
use.
torch to the
I've
next
never used
generation of
StreamYard. Let's have a look at
dreamers,
StreamYard.
Innovators and explorers. The legacy you leave behind is not merely in the missions accomplished, but in the lives you have
Why is my
touched
capital letters
and the
on?
inspiration you've ignited.
StreamYard
Godspeed, Amanda,
recording.
and thank you for this extraordinary journey.
Okay.
Great words there, Mick. And
Okay. Why is my
certainly
internet
well
sort of
deserved.
struggling?
Amanda Mickiewicz, Divas Award winner.
Okay, looks pretty
One of
cool.
the highest honors here at NASA.
Uses
So,
trusted
from
by.
all of us at NASA, we wish Amanda
Oh, it looks
well.
pretty good.
Well, that's going to do us. Do
So
it for
can you
us here at
stream
Hangar
from there?
AE, a successful launch of the Pace
Oh, you
spacecraft
pay.
and
Oh, wow, you
solar
pay for it.
array
Wow, okay.
deployment.
Yeah,
Great
OBS
success
is
by
completely
all
free.
involved today. Now we'll send it back
it-
to Jasmine and Laura to wrap
It
up.
has
Go
like
Pace.
it's more. You have to sort of know what you're doing. There is
Mick and Daryl.
many
So now
people
we're
on
back with
YouTube
yet another member of the
that
launch
you can sort of
services team.
go
And
to
Vincent,
help.
you are the assistant launch manager from
They help
LSU.
you
Thanks
set
for
up
being
basically
here.
OBS to
Of course, we're happy to
what
have you.
I've
So
got here.
today, this was your
It
first,
does take time.
launch in your new role
It does take
as
time,
the
but once
assistant
you've got
or
it
backup
set
launch
up
director,
nice,
how did things go from your
you know, you literally just open the app, chuck your stream key in from like I've been doing Facebook streams, hence why it says Facebook down there. So yeah, it's pretty good, and once you get to know OBS, it is super easy, and like I said, it's free. I am not putting money into streaming. Now I do pay for Kavanaugh, I think it was Kavanaugh, or something like that, which is the where I get like make my thumbnails. It's kind of like Photoshop, but it's kind of, it helps. There's like general stock footage in there and stuff like that.
Denton, is there anything you want to say
So
to
yeah, that's pretty fun. That's sort of the only thing I pay for.
Thank you to the SpaceX for giving us an excellent ride to space, and all the hard work and dedication.
Oh, nice. Fair enough. That's pretty cool.
As well as the guarded teams did an amazing job to make sure that this mission was successful. And also,
that's pretty cool.
Our colleagues at the Space Force who
right.
helped us out when we had some challenges with weather early on.
I'm currently actually looking for a second webcam because, as you can see over here, I have a desk which folds up conveniently to the wall, and basically I'm going to be doing unboxing, building stuff on this desk, which is
thank you to the combined
pretty cool. And I actually went to my charity shop down the road,
Space Force team.
and
everybody will miss Amanda.
yeah, I mean, my webcam is literally a Canon 50D. I picked up in CX, like 2017, for like 200 quid, and it's brilliant. I recommend. Yeah, I've just seen that one recommended. Now they're going to show a replay of the launch.
7, 6.
Here we go. So this is literally the launch we've just seen.
2, 1. Booster ignition.
See, I was just gonna buy the where is it? Because I want 4K. I want to start upping my level of streams because I've got my all of this bit is set to 4K, but I stream out at 1080p. But I actually really want. Oh, that one's a bit boring. Where is it? PC Gamer. No, not that one because that's an affiliate program. Right, here we go. PC Gamer. So for 4K, they were looking at the Dell Ultra Sharp, which looks pretty cool. So check on Amazon. How much is it? 132 quid. That's not bad actually for a 4K camera. So yeah, I'll show you. This is what I'm looking at, which is pretty cool.
Max Q, maximum dynamic pressure on launch vehicle. Max Q.
So that is what I'm looking for.
Pass through Max Q. The vehicle continues to perform.
Because I want to do. Yeah, this one apparently is quite good for. It's got a very wide field of view, which is what I need for it being mounted basically so close to the wall. And it's down from 170 quid. Looks pretty good. Apparently the only problems with it, downsides, it doesn't have a mic, which is fine because I have, I have the microphone here. Weird monitor stand. Does it have? Oh, that's fine. It's just a shoe version. That's fine. And so we're gonna have first light where is it? In the middle. I've lost it. Yeah, weird monitor stand and gets hot. Well, I'm in the shed outside, so I don't think I have any problems with it getting hot because it's quite cold in here. What's temperature actually?
Decisions about anything that is important to them.
Right. It's nice to see that the data from PACE really is going to help the public. So our next question comes from Mondo 3.
Oh yeah, I won money last night. I went to bed like stupid o'clock in the morning, stupid o'clock, and actually
The data from PACE
I won money on the Chelsea game. I had us to win over 2 goals, so I actually won some money.
Phytoplankton, we haven't talked so much about sediment or about other things that are suspended in the ocean. And so,
15 degrees
really depend
inside here, and that's only because I've got the big lights on and the computer's going mad. Right, what's going on?
Or that color of the water is going to be really important for us to
Right,
understand.
I think, guys, I am going to end this stream. I am going to, what am I going to do? I am going to get my bench set up. I'm also buying a 3D printer, guys. I want to... There was something I saw on X, formerly Twitter, about Apple doing some like little smart displays that you could stick on the wall. And I have got everything I need to make it, but I haven't got a frame. This is what I go for. Yes, my brother has that exact webcam. So yeah, I have seen that, and definitely looks really good. Yeah, no, that'd be cool. But yeah, there's some things I want to do with 3D printing, so hence why that's why I first off made this table, so that I could stick my 3D printer up here and, you know, do some stuff, and then straight away go to here. I want to stop using my computer desk as a thing, but you use the Nextgo. Yeah, the Nextgo, I've seen quite a few things. Yeah, literally, there's so many things I want to do with 3D printers. I've been saying since 2015 I want to buy a 3D printer. I used to buy 3D printed parts for my drones, and I've always wanted to get into it. I'm quite good at CAD, so actually doing that would be quite cool. So that would be my place, and then I've got storage over that side of the shed where I can actually put it when I'm not using it. I got to get up. Nice. Well, good luck at school. I am off work for this week, so I don't go back till Monday, so I'm enjoying a bit of time off. So yeah, I'm gonna end the stream, guys. Thank you very much for watching. That was a really nice launch, and NASA have just ended their stream, so that is perfect timing. Right, thank you very much, guys, for watching. I'm Lee. Fly safe, land safer. See you guys in the next one. Bye.